everybody. Welcome to the summer vacation edition of the Bison video blog. Who are you? It's been forever since we've been here.
I think you've aged since
Kevin,
I've seen
right?
You. Yeah, you're getting a little older. Wrinkles in the eyes.
The one and only Jeff Kolpack from the Forum of Fargo-Moorhead. And I'm Dom Izzo from WDAY Channel 6 Sports. Hope everybody's enjoying their summer vacation. Ours is pretty much over. We know that fall camp starts in 2 weeks, which means it's time to ramp up and get excited about football season. And certainly the Bison fans, Jeff, were flared up last week when it was announced by the University of South Dakota, a big ticket promotion down at Howard Field to tie in with the Bison game in Sioux Falls against USD, that now USD is trying to limit the amount of Bison fans because they know they'll make that 3-hour trip south. That they have to buy tickets to the season opener for USD against Colgate if you want to get a ticket to the Bison game. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, my guess is it backfired because the ticket to Colgate is $10 and the ticket to the NDSU is $25, hence $35 tickets. And that's the only tickets you can buy for USD games at the current moment unless you're a season ticket holder. Well, I think the Bison fans are looking at a $10 surcharge and saying, okay, here's a Colgate ticket, and we have tickets to the Bison game in Sioux Falls. Howardwood Stadium seats only 10,000 people, so I think at some point, I would imagine it's going to sell out sooner
fairly
than later.
quickly.
Yes.
And I think you hit the nail on the head that maybe backfire is the right word. That they wanted to see that stadium filled with red and white instead of yellow and gold, and yellow and green, I should say. And it might be the opposite, knowing the anticipation for this football season and knowing how short a trip it is. That I won't say the opposite, but at least 50-50 on that Saturday in October.
I would think 50-50, but it's a situation where I'm not sure USD thought this through very well, because if you're going to do that and you want to tap into the Sioux Falls market, I think you're better off picking like a Youngstown State.
Not the Bison
or
game.
some team, Southern Illinois or something that won't draw as well as NDSU.
And that's the thing, I guess maybe the double-edged sword is they wanted to get this game in Sioux Falls. Why not better? And that's what David Saylor, USD's AD, said. Well, we'll pick the national champs to come. But the other end of that is knowing the rabid fan base that North Dakota State has, there's going to be a lot of Bison fans there on that Saturday.
The situation is there for a takeover, it really is.
Really is. Speaking of the Bison, former offensive guard, or tackle, I should say, Paul Kornick was signed a contract with the New York Jets. He'll go to Cortland, New York, which is the training camp home of the Jets, which will be taken over, of course, by Tebow Mania. But this is a guy who you and I both thought, prior to his back injury that he suffered basically early in the season, he told me he played throughout it, was an All-American with that injury. He would have been drafted, but now gets a shot to make an NFL roster.
Now, did you lobby with the New York Jets to get him signed?
I certainly don't frown on this decision whatsoever.
I think Paul has a chance. Of course, he has to be injury-free, and that was the reason he didn't sign a contract until now.
Right.
Had some problems with his lower back in the spring of the year. Obviously healthy now, enough to sign a free agent contract, and he's got to stay healthy.
One of the few Bison in school history that was invited to the NFL Combine, so you already know the scouts and coaches. He's told both of us that, thought really highly of him once the season was over.
Free agents, you have to, again, if you get hurt just once, it's really hard to stick, because you really have to show a lot of potential for them to put on a practice squad.
July you wouldn't really associate with college basketball, but this is a huge month for recruiting. You and I talked about the new rules that allow coaches now to text and call juniors whenever they want. This is a big time where coaches are out on the road looking for future talent to stockpile their team. The Bison have already done that. They have their first verbal for 2013, getting Shanley's A.J. Jacobson. This was a slam dunk, I think, Jeff, that NDSU had to get this kid from Fargo.
Well, I don't know if he had to get him, but it sure is a nice venture to get a local kid like that. A.J. Jacobson, a big guard, good shooter, great lineage. I'm sure Mama was pretty proud of this move. Although, to her credit, she kind of backed off, at least in her comments to us, that it's his decision. He's going to make it academically as well as athletically. And I think after time, I think he's waiting for the Missouri Valley. Yeah. At some point, when they don't come offering, you just have to say, well, maybe they never will.
Right, and that offer was on the table. The Bison were the first to do that. He told me he'd always dreamed of playing for NDSU, so it always seemed like this was a slam dunk that it was going to happen eventually. But you mentioned it. The kid's a rocket scientist as well. He got a 4.0. He had 2 Ivy League schools that wanted him, another one in Colgate in the Patriot League. So he had some options, and obviously there were the rumors of Creighton and Northern Iowa who were interested. They never offered. But if NDSU says that, well, we're going to obviously, we got to get this guy before he goes to a Missouri Valley squad. So to
Ivy
speak.
League, though, do they have athletic scholarships?
Not yet. That's
yet.
not yet. The Patriot League is coming. We know that since we found that out. They approved that earlier here in the offseason. Something you and I have also been following on as we get set for the home opener on September 1 for Robert Morris is the new turf. Last year we got adjusted to the new lights inside the dome. This is just, it's a radical change. Just looking at the turf, how green it is. For the fans, it's just something they're not going to be used to when they see the Bison home opener.
Well, it's the final piece of the puzzle, I think,
really
in the
is.
dome, the football offices. Now you have new parking lots out there.
The tailgate lots out there are going to be huge, yep.
So it's got the complete package now. Does a field make a team? No, it doesn't. It's a field, Don. Okay?
I know.
It's just a field. It's got yellow end zones. I will say it has the Bison in the middle.
It does.
Which really adds a little more home field look to it anyway.
I would say the players would tell you it's more than just a field,
I
especially the
understand.
former players that played there since 1993.
When's the last time the field completed a pass?
Well, that's true. It has definitely affected a pass, I'll say that, or affected some knees on the players.
Cole Huckendorf. Yeah,
Exactly.
he'll
That
ask
was the first one I thought of right there on his turf toe. Brock Jensen last year, how many times did he say that to us? That if he was playing on the Dakota Field surface.
Okay, I'll get you halfway there.
Okay, I appreciate that. See, at least compromise is made here on the Bison video blog. Before we go, I cannot not have anything about college football realignment because it's something we always talk about. We haven't even got into the new playoff that is happening on the BCS level. We'll save that for another time. But it did come out of Statesboro that Georgia Southern has put the brakes on moving up to FBS, a big story that we talked about at the end of April and early May. I know you were skeptical when you heard of it. Your thoughts now on the fact that the Eagles are saying we're staying in FCS?
I was skeptical for the simple reason it's $4 million more per year, right, to raise. And I've been to Statesboro. I've seen the stadium. They had to do a significant upgrade, which was possible, of course. It's outdoors. It's in a setting where you can add maybe an upper deck or things like that. It's in a rabid football base, but you're still, Georgia Southern in a state where you have Georgia. You have, you're next door to Auburn, Alabama. You're just in the heart of just major Division I football country. I just had to question if there's enough pie to go around.
And that's what obviously has happened with Georgia Southern. I will say this, it's a win for the FCS to keep them there as long as possible, knowing the fact that Appalachian State is certainly courting that. Delaware, we've talked about, Old Dominion has already left, so the longer you can get them to stay, the better you are.
How about the CAA, though? The CAA is thinking about expanding. Now, that's another story with Davidson, perhaps, coming in.
Davidson, yep.
And who else?
College of Charleston.
College of Charleston. It's going to significantly weaken that league, in my opinion, if the CAA is trying to rebound with some other schools.
And Stony Brook as well.
So it might.
Who's a good team
Here we
last
go,
year.
these New York schools.
I'm just saying, that, and they are definitely on the table because A, they were great in football last year.
Right.
They lost to Sam Houston in the second round of the playoffs. And B, they made it to the College World Series in baseball. That doesn't happen anytime in the upper Northeast, especially from a team from New York. That certainly has got them on the radar for that.
So why not take Oswego then?
Well, we're not ready yet. We're certainly not yet ready to make that move from Division III to FCS. Are you ready for your summer vacation to be over?
It's over. It's done.
When we come back next week, we will preview the Missouri Valley top to bottom. We'll have our preseason poll, since I know you love preseason polls.
I love them.
We'll do that. We'll pick our offensive and defensive players of the year. That's next week here on the Bison Video Blog.